Yeah, for the men's breakfast, I'm going to be sharing something that I have been doing for the last couple of years now. And it's based on a book I'm developing. It's called 10 Lessons from 10 Years of Motorcycling. And obviously I have been riding more than 10 years, but I've just gleaned some proverbs, or you want to call it lessons, which I think would be helpful, especially for men, because quite often our identity gets wrapped up around our doing. And so, quite often guys would, say they're a biker, and that's their entire identity, which means they spend their life compromising quite often. And in fact, getting so enamored with that sphere that they begin to value and prize a man-made machine over the people. And so yeah, there are basically 10 lessons, but it's about living a life of adventure with one's creator. So that's the gist of where I'm coming from. Our greatest, in fact, the whole world's greatest example is Jesus. Whether you believe that or not, that's not what I'm debating. I see that in Christ alone, we find the ultimate man's man. And you see him strong, and in fact, he's righteous in his anger, and yet you see him washing his disciples' feet, the very people he's leading and teaching. So he is the ultimate example. And I think when we look at him, we see a tension between leadership, we see tension between humility, somebody who is able to take time out in silence and solitude, somebody who knows to hold his ground in the crowd. And so I think for men, there's only one, I wouldn't say solution, but the only one option is the person of Jesus. And when we're walking in that unique relationship, because we're all unique, we will find breakthroughs that I think we're missing by trying to find it in the world. New fads and even motorcycling to a lot of people is like, well, is this the new way? Is adventure the solution? It isn't. The greatest adventure is actually walking and actually inviting the living Messiah in our life. So I would say Jesus he's dangerous, but he's also good. And I think that's what men are looking for, somebody who's able to take them into a space of, risk-taking, fully loving, being open, and just really trusting God to help them in times of need. So I think that's what I would say where we need to begin. And with that, men tend to be quite isolated. They would keep things in. I think it's universal. And knowing Jesus, we realize that actually Jesus encourages community as well. And he had his band of brothers, he had, the 12 disciples. And we're called to actually not just fellowship, but be vulnerable, open. And at Jesus's, trying hour, he wanted his disciples to pray because he needed his friends to back him up at that time. So if Jesus needs, so do we. So we need, friends around us.